What's going on, everybody? My name is Stephen Wimberley and this is Working with Wimberley, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how I wired up the parking brake bypass on my Pioneer radio. I'm going to start off by stating that you cannot simply connect the ground wire to the parking brake wire. That used to work on these type of radios, but it does not work on this one. So simply connecting the ground to the parking brake wire will not work. If you look at the part highlighted on blue, this is straight from the owner's manual. They want you to apply the parking brake, release the parking brake, and then apply the parking brake again. This is why we have the module, because it posts on, off, on. This is specific to these three radios: DMH-1700NEX, DMH-1770NEX, and DMH-160BT. You can see they're all listed on these manuals. They're virtually the same radio. 1770 comes with a remote, 1700 and the 160 do not. And the only reason they have different names, from my understanding, besides the remote, is the DMH-160BT is a Walmart only part number. And even though it's the same radio, they do this so you can't price match Walmart. If you want to pay the Walmart price, you have to get it from Walmart, but they are the same radio. So let's get started. I'm going to put the key in the ignition, turn it to the on position. We'll see the radio power on, and we'll look at the Pioneer logo for about 4 or 5 seconds. It takes a little while for it to boot up. And now we're in. You get this warning. After a few seconds, it goes away. And now we're right in Bluetooth mode. It starts playing the music. Now I have a front camera connected, so when I go over to aux, which is where I have the front camera connected, we get this warning where we're unable to see the video. So I wired it up to a button right here. I wired up a button in the dash, and it only takes one quick push, and just like that, one quick push. It takes about 7 seconds for this to go through the process, but then you'll be able to press OK and watch the video. And there you go. That's my front facing camera that we can see right there. And this will be the same process if you were trying to watch a video. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how I wired this up. The radio is on the left, the switch is in the middle, and the bypass is on the right. Going to hook it up black to black for your ground wire, green to green for your parking brake wire. The only thing is on the blue wire, which is your remote wire, it sends a signal from the radio to the bypass. You're going to put that switch in between. And I just used a spade connector on either end of the blue wire, and I hooked it up. And then I put that light switch in the ashtray that you saw previously. So this switch is constantly on. When you push the button down, what you're doing is actually breaking the current, and then when you lift up on it, it re-energizes and sends the power back through, which causes the bypass to send the pulsing signal that it needs to clear the parking brake warning. So that's how this works. And if you want to have a setup like mine, this is exactly how I did it, and you can follow this and do the exact same thing. So you may be asking yourself, why do I have to wire it this way with the switch? Why can't I just wire it like the instructions say? And this is my theory on this. If you look at one of these bypasses, you'll notice it says, note, Pioneer models AVH-160BT and AVH-241EX have delays built into their turn-on time. An on-off switch must be installed in the remote wire to the bypass to be activated after the radio turns on. The bypass is already pulsed before the radio turns on and won't bypass without this switch. And I think that's exactly what's happening with these three models of radio. And the funny thing about that too is when you Google AVH-160BT, nothing comes up. Pioneer doesn't even have that model. They have an AVH-120BT, and the one that I have is the DMH-160BT. So this may be a typo, and instead of AVH-160BT, it should be DMH-160BT. But I believe this is the problem. So if you notice, when I turned on the radio, we looked at the Pioneer logo for 5 or 6 seconds. What I believe is happening is as soon as you turn it on, the bypass is getting the signal and it's pulsing, but it's doing it before the radio has completely booted up, so it doesn't get that signal. So that's why you need to install this. And when I did my research, I couldn't find anybody with one of those three models that actually got the bypass to work. what they ended up doing is just running a switch between the ground and the parking brake wire, and then they would toggle that switch on and off to get it to work. I can actually show that here. So here's one, brake bypass for the Pioneer DMH-1770NEX. Now he took down the original question, but if you scroll down, you can see right here, it says, thanks all. The reviews in there say it does not work with their 1770NEX. So that's one right there. So here's another one. Can't get e-brake MicroBypass to work on the DMH-160BT, which is what I have. And right here, he says, I cannot find a MicroBypass specifically for this model, but I tried 2 other Pioneer bypasses with no luck. So this person with the DMH-160BT wasn't able to get it to work. And then finally, this one right here, DMH-1770NEX, parking brake bypass not working. So right here, he purchased a parking brake bypass off Amazon, hooked it up as it is in the diagram, matching the colors. Unfortunately, I am still unable to bypass. So if you scroll down, what he eventually did, I ended up buying a switch from Ace Hardware, cheaper and easier than the bypasser on Amazon. So there's another person who couldn't get it to work. I haven't found anybody to get it to work on those 3 models, and I believe it's because of the delayed boot time on the radio, and this is how I got around it. Here's the bypass that I used. I purchased it on Amazon. It's a little more expensive, but I wanted to get a quick delivery time. And here's the switch that I used. I have a link from Amazon for both of these things. I will say though, I got this switch locally at an auto parts store for only $3. See the 2 blue wires, and they go to the spade connectors on the back of the switch. I'm going to expand on my theory a little further. So again, I'm going to go and put the key into the on position. It's going to take several seconds for the radio to boot up. Get the warning screen. That clears. Now we're in Bluetooth and the music starts playing. And again, we're going to go to aux, where I have my front camera hooked up. And again, we can't watch it. Go in here, tap the button, and we'll wait our 7 seconds. And now we're good to go. So back on the slow boot up theory, what you're going to notice is I'm going to turn off the key and open the door so the radio shuts off. But if I quickly turn it back down, there's still some energy in the radio. It's going to power up faster, and it's going to catch the input from the bypass. So check this out. Out, open the door, radio shuts off. Put the key in, switch to on. It's going to boot up instantly. See that quick boot? So with that quick boot, it's going to catch the signal from the bypass, and we don't have to push the button. So again, this is confirming my theory that the slow boot time is what's causing it not to work initially. But if you cut it off and cut it back on and the radio turns on instantly, it catches the signal. There's one more thing I wanted to show. We have the front facing camera on right now. If you go and you hold the power button, this is source off. You press it and you turn it back on, it's going to look for that signal again. So we'll have to go in, press the button one time, wait the 7 seconds, and we should be able to view again. So I just want to make that note. If you do source off and then source back on, you will have to press the button again because it's looking for that post in order to display the video or the camera. I want to throw this in too. I told you guys that the 1700NEX and the 160BT do not come with a remote. That is true. And the remote that you need to buy is going to be CXE5116, and it does work on this unit. Right here, I can press source, goes to radio, hit source again, goes to Bluetooth audio. I can control the volume, down, up. I can skip forward and backwards. So this is the remote that you need if you have one of these units, and I actually recommend getting it. I find that it is useful. The genuine Pioneer remote is more expensive, but it's a lot slimmer, and it uses a CR2302 battery. The reproduction remote is a lot cheaper, but it's a lot thicker, and it uses 2 AA batteries, but they both should work. I'll have a link in the description. If you found that video helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment. God bless you all.